Hello.
Hi.
It's sad. I know the parents of the young boy, by the way, they also need a picture of father and son. No step.
After going.
there, the crocodile, all of the two.
On pause.
Oh, big side menu. What I'm going to take this again.
The 1, 2 to 5 2. The 1, 2 to 5. 1 to 4.
I did. Oh, mi amor.
Ladies and gentlemen, namaskar to all of you. May I kindly ask you to take your seats. And there are many people standing in the passageway. Can I ask you to please make your way forward, take the seats available so that others get a chance to say farewell to our dear brother Ashwin the way their heart desires. Thank you. on time. Thank you. thanks to everybody. You are kindly requested to be quiet. This is a very solemn farewell that we are extending to our dear Pai Ashwin. So you are requested to please join the chant, and if you feel the need to talk, then please, we will have to ask you to leave the hall. Thank you.
Vasudeva Ladies and gentlemen, dear children, you're kindly requested to take your seats, please, as we prepare to start off the formalities for today's proceedings honoring the late Shree Ashwin Hirjee Trikamjee. We're going to start off by reciting the Gayatri Mantra 3 times, and thereafter we do the Om Namah Shivaya Mantra. Please join in as we are hoping to give today's proceedings the best energies possible.
Savidurvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhyo yona prachodayat. Om bhurbhuvasvaha tatsavidurvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhyo yona prachodayat. Om bhurbhuvasvaha tatsavidurvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhyo yona prachodayat. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Shivaya. Om Namah 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 Shivaya. Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The Trikamjee family, Mrs. Mridula Ben Trikamjee, Solemn, Tulja, Hirjee, Mahi, distinguished guests, all protocol observed, members of the extended Trikamjee family, ladies and gentlemen, dear children. Namaskar, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Adab, Sampanani, and good afternoon to you. I'm Veena Lakshman, deeply honored to be the program director for today's proceedings in honor of our dear Bhai Ashwin Trikamjee. The morning of the 20th of March 2025 will be etched in our memories as one of total disbelief and grief as we await the news of the passing on of Shree Ashwin Trikamjee. Disbelief because Ashwinji was so incredibly fit, and you will agree with me, the fitness personified. And grief because it was impossible for us to imagine not having him in our midst because he wore so many caps in this lifetime. Thus he was the go-to person for so many people, not just family members, but the broader South African community, irrespective of what the issue might have been.
He was, as you do know, the president of the South African Hindu Mahasabha for many years. He was a member of the legal fraternity, even longer perhaps. He was a family man, a human rights activist, and I think it's so beautiful that today we bid him farewell when in South Africa we are celebrating Human Rights Day. And of course, you do know that these are just some of the caps we wore. As we all do during difficult moments when nothing makes sense, we go to scripture to seek solace and answers. The wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita shares this wonderful thought that is so potent on a day like this, and I quote, "Death is unavoidable. Those who are born are bound to face death. Hence, one should not mourn over a preordained occurrence." Unquote. It is such wisdom that enables us to embrace a reality that we all have to face. And sure, we are one, but life isn't devoid of purpose. The Bhagavad Gita also says to us, each of us have a duty towards human society. We have a duty to ourselves, we have a duty to the world, we have a duty to our Antaratman, the deepest self within, unquote. And I share the second quote specifically because it largely epitomizes Ashwin. He served the people that he shared this world with, and in doing so, he was so deeply guided by his Antaratma, his inner consciousness, and that is why we all loved him so dearly. A wise person once said, the purpose of life is not just to be happy, it is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have made some difference. That is a life well lived. Today, as we offer our condolences to the Trikamjee family and friends, we say especially to Mrs. Mridulaben Trikamjee, Cheling and Tulja for sharing Ashwin with us so that he lived his purpose in this lifetime to the fullest. Ladies and gentlemen, there has been an outpouring of messages on this very important occasion in the life of South Africans, the length and breadth of South Africa. And we are going to read some of the messages that we have that have come to us, and given the multitude of messages, we will mention just a few. Also, we have amongst us esteemed guest speakers, and we will be listening to their wonderful messages as the program rolls out. The first message I share with you is from the first citizen of South Africa, and he is none other than South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. And this is what he writes in remembrance to Mr. Trikamjee. The presidency is saddened by the passing of Ashwin Trikamjee. The passing of Mr. Ashwin Trikamjee, President of South African Hindu Mahasabha and Chairperson of the National Religious Leaders Forum, deeply saddens me. I offer my condolences to the family, friends and associates of this outstanding icon of service to our nation who has passed on at the age of 80. He was an attorney who served as president of the then Natal Law Society, president of the Association of Law Societies of South Africa, chairperson of the African Regional Forum of the Internal Bar Association, and a member of the Human Rights Commission of the IBA. As a Black conscious activist, he also led the Durban Central component of the Natal Indian Congress, and he was a vice president of the South African football team. Ashwin's deep spiritual devotion extended beyond his Hindu affiliation as he advocated tolerance and collaboration amongst the diverse religious communities in our country. We will miss his gentle, serene presence, wise counsel, and humble yet industrious service to many sectors of our nation. May his soul rest in peace. President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. And I think you will agree with me, when the first citizen of a country pens a message on the passing of a fellow citizen, that in itself speaks of the stature of the citizen. So, we know the song has ended, but the melody lives on. And I'm going to ask our Bhajan group to please share with us the first Bhajan for this afternoon.
Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Rakshama. Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Rakshama. Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Maa. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Maa. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Maa. Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Raghava. Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Rakshama. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Maa. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Maa. Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Ram Rakshama. Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Rakshama. Krishna Keshava, Pahi Maa. Krishna Keshava, Pahi Maa.
Thank you very much. The family has put together a list of speakers, people who have been very close to Ashwin Bhai. And our first speaker today represents the South African Hindu Mahasabha. We now call to the podium Ms. Dhanalakshmi Desai. She's an ex-co member of the South African Hindu Mahasabha, and she's probably, from the current generation of ex-co members, the longest serving member of the EXCO, and she has worked very, very closely with Ashwin Bhai, and she now shares with us her very special message.
Namaste, Vanakkam, Namaskaram, and good afternoon. It is with great sadness that I stand before you to say a few words regarding our time with Ashwin at the South African Hindu Mahasabha. Some 30 years ago, Ashwin took over as president of the Mahasabha and transformed it into the nationally and internationally recognized organization that it is today. Ashwin was a born leader, a priest, an astute negotiator, a lawyer, a sportsman, and a family man. Under his leadership, the Sabha became a place where people with diverse problems sought solutions. Example, human rights violations, legal advice, issues with priests, and so on. No problem was too small for him to devote his time and attention to. His innovative thinking and support resulted in the 108 project, which is the social responsibility program of the Sabha. Coordination of relief efforts during COVID-19, input to various government institutions on matters affecting religion, culture and language, the QCTO priest curriculum recognizing priesthood as a profession, interfaith dialogue, introduction of good governance workshops, and of course, the Durban Diwali festival for the last 25 years. His style of supporting young people and women to take on leadership positions endeared him to one and all. Ashwin, you leave behind a legacy that will be hard to follow. You will be sadly missed by all of us at the Mahasabha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Dhanalakshmi Bering, and I think all of us here understand the void that is left at the South African Hindu Mahasabha, because as Ben has said, he's been associated with the Mahasabha for over 30 years, and as always, myself included, if there was a problem, he was our go-to person at the South African Hindu Mahasabha. We're going to ask our bhajan group to please render another bhajan, and thereafter we bring to you some of the messages that have come through. It's now time for us to request our next speaker to join us at the podium. We call upon Yvonne Bowden, the CEO of Garlic and Bowesfield, to please come onto stage to offer her tribute. As we all know, when we think of Shree Ashwin Trikamjee being part of the legal field, invariably we Garlic and Bosfield. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Trikamjee, Ashwin's beloved children, Tulsha and Shaylin, extended Trikamjee family, and friends of Ashwin. In April of last year, Garlick and Barsfield gathered together to celebrate Ashwin achieving the remarkable milestone of 50 years as a practicing attorney. Practicing as an attorney for 50 years is a milestone that very few attorneys reach, because the practice of law tends to wear us out, even the toughest. I had the privilege of congratulating Ashwin on behalf of Garlick and Barsfield on his distinguished legal career and the attainment of that important milestone, and of thanking him for everything that he had done for practitioners who today owe their own admission as an attorney to Ashwin's selfless training and guidance. And in standing here before you, the devastating loss of Ashwin seems quite surreal to all of us at GNB. When April 1974, he took the attorney's oath that he would truly and honestly conduct himself in the practice of a legal practitioner according to the best of his knowledge and ability, years honoring that oath with the intense discipline and unwavering determination. In promising to be faithful to the Republic of South Africa back in 1974, Ashwin was pledged to the country and its future, and not to the government of the day. Nothing deterred Ashwin in the pursuit, and in this quest, he leaves this country a better place than it was back then. It is therefore most fitting that we gather today to bid farewell to Ashwin Day. Ashwin's achievements are well documented and will be mentioned by many. And within the legal profession, they include Law Society, Vice President and President of the Association of Law Societies of South Africa, Chairperson of the African Regional Forum of the International Bar Association, member of the Human. But for his GNB family, it is not this public figure that we mourn today. We have lost a much-loved and respected a guide, a visionary, a wise counsel, one of our own, a generous friend who gave of his time and wisdom to anyone who asked. Whether you were a first-year law graduate or a and he would welcome you, never dismissing the inexperienced and relishing any opportunity to uplift and empower aspiring attorneys. There are few practicing attorneys today who have not benefited saying, if you want to pass paper 4, you need Ashwin. I am one of Ashwin's graduates and proud to be one. Ashwin for the first time in April 1989 at his office in the Durban city, where he practiced as Amin and Trikamjee. As a very junior practitioner, Ashwin Trikamjee filled me with unbridled fear. But he greeted me at the door to his office, smiling graciously. He addressed me with courtesy, of respect I certainly did not deserve. And I knew that I was a true gentleman, a legend, and a hero. Ashwin's decision to join the board of Garlick and Barsfield in 1993 was a moment for great celebration at GNB. In truth, we did not think he would agree to join us, and much debate went into planning our approach to him. Who would make it? What would we say? What could we possibly say to persuade him? I had a celebration last year, what it was that made him decide to join us 31 years ago. And he said to me, it was an honor to be invited, and that we were... I'm seldom without words, but Ashwin's response left me speechless. For certainly in him joined from the inception, and we watched with absolute as the name Ashwin Trikamjee became associated and synonymous with Marsfield. In his relationships with others, no matter how important or unimportant, respect, with humility, with tolerance, and with courtesy. Not someone who ever raised his voice, demanded both the attention and the respect of everyone he interacted with. In a world of public figures who have made uncontrolled rhetoric, Ashwin was the antithesis. His calmness and his approach to confrontation and crises is an example that all of us should aspire to. Not to destroy. He tried to build bridges, not to break them. Practicing law for Ashwin was more about doing the right letter of the law or taking technical points against his opponents. To assist candidate attorneys or to contribute on a myriad of issues. Ashwin was a we were relieved and delighted when he elected to remain on at GNB as an executive actively and faithfully in that capacity until the onset of his illness, to assure me that we had nothing to worry about. He would get through this. In facing the reality that this is not to be, we are filled with sorrow, but we are also humbled, immensely proud to have played a role in Ashwin's remarkable life, to have been his GNB home and his much-loved family. Rest in peace, Ash. Your incredible legacy will live on at GNB and in the hearts of the countless lives you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne Bowden, the CEO of Garlic and Bowsfield. I think you would have listened like me in great awe, because we know of Ashwinji as this wonderful public personality within the Hindu circles, but to hear that is foreign to many of us is indeed an eye-opener. And when we listen to such speeches, we realize what a great human being has said farewell to us. We call Pradosh Maharaj to present a very
Thank you, Veena-ji. I was privileged to serve as Mr. Trikamjee's treasurer at the Mahasabha. Please allow me to make this offering. न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योम भूमि न तेजो न वायु चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं. Neither am I the mind, no intelligence, no ego. Neither am I the organs of hearing, nor that of tasting, smelling, seeing. And neither am I the sky, nor the earth. Neither am I fire, nor this consciousness. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायु न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोश न वा निपादं न चोपस्थ्यपारु चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. Neither am I the vital breath, nor the 5 vital airs of the body, nor the 5 sheaths. Neither am I the organ of speech, consciousness. न मे द्वेष रागो न न धर्मो न चार्तो न कामो न मोक्ष चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. Neither do I have hatred nor attachment, neither nor infatuation. Neither do I have pride nor feelings of envy and jealousy. I am not within the bounds of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. I am the ever pure, blissful consciousness. Na punyam na papam na sokhyam na dukkham na mantro na tirtham na veda na yajna aham bhojanam naiva bhojam na bhokta चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. Neither am I bound by the merits nor the sins, neither by worldly joys nor by sorrows. Neither am I bound by sacred hymns nor by sacred places, neither by sacred scriptures nor by sacrifices. I am neither enjoyment nor the object to be enjoyed, nor the enjoyer. I am the ever pure, blissful consciousness. न मृत्यु न शंका न मे जाति भेद पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्यं चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं. Neither am I bound by death and its fear, nor by the rules of caste and its distinctions. Neither do I have father or mother, or did I ever take birth. Neither do I have relations nor friends, neither spiritual teacher nor disciple. I am ever pure, blissful consciousness. Aham nirvikalpo nirakar rupo vibhutvacha sarvatra sarvendriya eva muktirna maya chidananda rupa shivo चिदानंद रूप शिवोऽहं 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 चिदानंद रूप.
Thank you, Pradosh. A beautiful hymn reminding us that we are the divine. It is just about getting in tune and with our Antaratma to recognize this. We continue with more of the messages that have come in, and the next message that I share with you is very close to me because it's almost like speaking about home. We are all familiar with Lotus FM, and it was not unusual for Ashwin Ji to be on Lotus FM for a range of reasons. He appeared on our talk shows, he appeared on our shows like Bhakti Sangeet, and we have a very special message from our programs manager, Alvin Pillay, and I read this message now because the sentiments expressed here so beautifully expresses the sentiments of almost everyone around. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and cherished listeners, today we gather with sadness to bid farewell to a monumental figure in our community, Mr. Ashwin Trikamjee. His passing leaves a void that resonates deeply with the Indian community and beyond. Mr. Trikamjee was not only a distinguished attorney and human rights advocate, but he also was a revered religious leader whose contributions have indelibly shaped our society. Mr. Trikamjee dedicated his life to uplifting communities, promoting justice, and fostering religious and cultural unity. As the president of the South African Hindu Mahasabha, he worked tirelessly to promote interfaith dialogue and social cohesion. He was a firm believer in the values of respect, tolerance, and unity, ensuring that the Hindu community had a strong and respected voice in the broad South African society. His leadership helped bridge gaps between different religious and cultural groups, fostering a spirit of inclusivity and understanding. Beyond his religious and legal work, Mr. Trikamjee was a champion for social justice. He stood against discrimination, fought for human rights, and remained an unwavering advocate for marginalized communities. His wisdom and insight were sought after in various spheres, from legal matters to community empowerment initiatives. Mr. Trikamjee had a long and cherished relationship with Lotus FM. He was familiar and a respected voice on our platform, frequently sharing his knowledge, experiences, and guidance with our listeners. Whether addressing matters of law, social justice, or faith, his words carried immense weight and inspired many. His interviews were filled with wisdom, humility, and a deep commitment to serving the people. He was not just a guest, he was part of the Lotus FM family. As we reflect on his remarkable life, we are reminded of the profound impact one individual can have on society. Mr. Trikamjee's legacy is a testament to the power of dedication, empathy, and unwavering commitment to justice and unity. To his family and loved ones, we extend our deepest condolences. May you find solace in the knowledge that his legacy will continue to inspire future generations. Rest in peace, Mr. Ashwin Trikamjee. Your light will continue to guide us. And I think that was a very from Mr. Alvin Pillay, the program manager of Lotus FM. I think he beautifully expressed all of the feelings that many amongst us are expressing and feeling here today. I'm going to ask the Bhajan group on stage to please render a bhajan, and thereafter we call upon our next speaker.
Bhagavad Gita, Jaya 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 Shri Bhagavad Gita, Jaya 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 Shri Bhagavad Gita, Jaya 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 Shri Bhagavad Gita, Kitna Sundar Kitna Meeta, Kitna Meeta, Kitna Sundar, Kitna Sundar, Kitna Meeta, Vimo Mata Tu Devata
Thank you very much for studying. Very esteemed speaker. We've heard of Sri Ashwin Trikamjee being a member of so many boards that was welcome to the podium to share your message with us.
Protocol observed, and General Secretary. I stand on behalf of Stembele Sipuka. I also carry into this moment of the Supreme Council of Churches, President Mahasabha, also the former General Secretary of the SACC, Bishop Malusi Mbumla. And they are sorrow that they are unable to be with you in person. Trikamjee was not an idea. He was a living human being as part of God's creation and part of God's intent in the world. Here then to say to you on behalf of the SACC, the family, receive our specific condolences to you. That Ashwin is a father, Ashwin is a husband to many, and because of that power of his life in your presence, the SACC received the passing of Ashwin with a deep sense of sadness. Sadness because religion and faith, but it's a gift to all South Africans. God wants all of us to live with purity of heart, clarity. People who are created by God in all creation, without any sense of revenge, without any sense of competition, to eliminate the path of the world. We know that his own activism politically, even in the legal sense, was founded on his faith with the responsibility to be the light into the world. To a better South Africa is one that is not inspired by social constructs, but is socially connect with what God wants us to be. He gave his life in his youth, he gave his skill, he to a just South Africa, which was not only the fight against the evil of apartheid, but also his own tireless South Africa. He gave himself as a testament that South Africa can be better. South Africa will be better, and South Africa will be a place for all of us. In the twilight of the coming of the new South Africa, he also lived with the first steps when we began to create this new possibility of a country inspired not by social constructs, only by deep spiritual connect. Took missteps, and as a nation we took the where tribalism began to emerge and show its face, where racism is trying to find its ugly head back into our own system, is intractably and is stubborn in its dehumanization. Yet in all those moments, inspired by his faith, he never gave up hope. And to those who believe in his future for South Africa, we stand in front of you as the Hindu community, saying to you, be proud, for you gave to South Africa a son, and that son will continue to illuminate and guidance be yours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your heartfelt message, and you have so beautifully indicated faith groups outside the faith group of Hinduism. We're going to take another song break, and thereafter.
Ramani Pulavadi Duniya, Ramani Pulavadi Re, Ramani Pulavadi. दुनिया ईश्वर निवाड़ी मुलदानर लेना रंका बंका रयतराणा हरि मारा रामनी फुलवाड़ी दुनिया रामनी फुलवाड़ी रे रामनी फुलवाड़ी घर में भेगा था दुनिया पंखी नो मेड़ो कर में भेगा था लेना देना अदा करीने लेना देना अदा करीने आपे उड़ी जाए री राम हरि मारा रामनी फुलवाड़ी दुनिया रामनी फुलवाड़ी रे रामनी फुलवाड़ी अलबेली नगरी नानी गोता दुनिया अलबेली नगरी नानी गोता राम समर जी दगल भर जे राम समर जे दगल भर जे वीर कमल ने न्याय री रामनी फुलवाड़ी मारा रामनी फुलवाड़ी दुनिया रामनी फुलवाड़ी रे रामनी फुलवाड़ी कविता मीला जे झूठला सुनता कविता मींदा जे वो झूठोया संसार बड़े मधुकर अंक बड़े जो बड़े मधुकर अंक बड़े जो साथ बेड़ो पार ली रामनी फुलवाड़ी मारा रामनी फुलवाड़ी दुनिया रामनी फुलवाड़ी रे रामनी फुलवाड़ी रामनी फुलवाड़ी दुनिया रामनी फुलवाड़ी रे रामनी फुलवाड़ी मारा रामनी फुलवाड़ी रामनी फुलवाड़ी रे रामनी फुलवाड़ी चंद्र भगवान की जय.
Thank you for bringing the name of Sri Ram into this beautiful Ashwin Trikamjee. It is now time for us to listen to another tribute, and this time around we call, could you please make your way to the stage? Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to the family, Mrs. Trikamjee especially, and all the friends who are here. It is very daunting to tell you about somebody that I loved as a father as well, and he took that role for me for 23 years. I met Ashwin for my current position, and he asked me a trick question, I believe. He said to me, fund. And I said to him, I think rules are made to be bent. And if there's a way that one can help somebody and you need to bend a rule to do it, I believe you should do it. And I thought, well, that's me. I'm never getting this job. First of all, I was too short, I was too old, I was the wrong color, I was lots of wrong things. The other question he asked me was, are you using this job to get to another job, to get yourself up? And I said, Mr. Trikamjee, I've had 2 jobs in my entire life. Have you read my CV? And I thought I blew it. 2 hours later, Mr. Trikamjee offered me the job. And I realized it was a trick question. He knew I had the qualifications and the experience. He wanted to know, did I have a heart? Because the pension fund, the SABC pension fund, is about people. It's not about rules and regulations. You've heard about how he stood up for human rights. And Ashwin was always about the pensioners, the downtrodden, the people who needed to be looked after. And in the entire 23 years that I've served with Ashwin on the board, we have not ever bent the rules, but we've changed them. We've changed them to make them better. We've changed them to have more equality. We've changed them for all the reasons that they should have been changed a long time ago. And this just ties in with what everybody else has said on this podium before me. Ashwin made changes. When Ashwin joined that pension fund prior to me, it was worth 250 million rand. Currently, that pension fund stands at 17 billion rand. Ashwin made a difference, and it was always for the pensioners. We won a few awards where we had to go overseas, and they were international, obviously international awards, and we'd get interviewed afterwards. And when Ashwin was asked, why did you enter this competition? Why did you do what you did to win this award? He always only had one answer. He would say, we do it for the pensioners. It's for them that we put all our effort in. And that really was what his life was about. And I believe that's why I was asked to speak today, to tell you that there are 3,500 pensioners who are grieving with all of you today. I sent out an email yesterday to everyone to give them the news of Ashwin's passing. And Mrs. Trikamjee, Tulja, Shailen, I've got already 1,000 emails back saying, please offer our condolences. Mr. Trikamjee was a wonderful man. He was loved by all the pensioners of the SABC, of whatever race, creed, religion, they all loved him. He made a difference. And I was so sad that in the many news reports that I've read, no reference was made to that he did for the pensioners of the SABC. So I'm really glad to stand here, and I want to emphasize he made a difference in the lives of so many people that you didn't even know about. Ashwin and I traveled a lot during the years we were together. We had to go to conferences, and it was very scary traveling with your boss. He was my boss when I started. I was scared of him. I learned not to be scared of him. I learned Ashwin had a heart like I did. and that we had the same caring nature about people. Even though we are different religions, our base religion, our base inside, very much aligns with what I see here today. The flowers, the love, the beautiful songs that you sing. But Ashwin taught me about shopping. He always told my staff, well, we've got to get to the airports early because Anthony likes to shop. It wasn't Anthony, please. It was Mr. Trikamjee who taught Anthony about going to the shops. He taught me about shopping for good clothing at good prices. Mr. Trikamjee would never wear anything that wasn't classy. And he showed me how to be classy without spending a lot of money, but always looking good. And Ashwin could wear a t-shirt and look wonderful. He also taught me about family life, because I watched as these children grew up. I'm sorry, I'm much, much older than you. I look very good, but I'm much, much older. But when we first started traveling, it always used to be for Muradula, Mrs. Trikamjee. He taught me about Shirovsky. We have to go to Shirovsky and get Mrs. Trikamjee something. And then as Tulja grew a bit older, we'd have to get something for Mrs. Trikamjee and for Tulja. Shaylin, you were a boy. There was not much for you to buy overseas except t-shirts and those kind of things, but I know you got thought about. But Tulja was, you were the apple of your daddy's eye. I remember spending a night in Japan. You'd have a bad exam result and he spent all night speaking to you. Do you remember? They ripped you off. They did the wrong thing with you. He was so upset he was late for breakfast. First time ever Ashwin was late for breakfast because they wronged his daughter. And he spoke to you all night. I'm sorry if this is private. You're now a very well-respected pediatrician. But that was a time when you were, a night that you struggled, and he spent all night awake with you. And I will never forget that love that he showed you. He was always proud of Shaylin as well. I always heard what Shaylin was doing. Shaylin's had various business ventures. And of course, Shaylin produced the most beautiful grandchildren that Ashwin was so proud of. When they played cricket, I used to hear about it. And then the emphasis moved from Shirovsky to the children's clothes. We then had to look for, and I remember in Dubai having to go shopping for his grandchildren. I forget, Berbers or whatever, Burberry, I think it was, had the best clothes for grandchildren. Ashwin was always looking out for his family, every one of you. And I know that your homes must be full of the things that he's brought for you, and that you will have plenty of memories as the years go by. Ashwin used to say to me that you only get to know somebody when you travel with them. He and I always travel together, so I think that means that we got to know each other pretty well. I love traveling with Ashwin. He was a gentleman. He was supposed to be my boss. But if he wanted to change our itinerary, he would ask me, Anthony, I need to do this or that. Do you think we could move our flight? He was the boss. He didn't have to ask me. He was the gentleman that was the boss. He never imposed his will on anyone. He made you want to do things for him. I never considered Ashwin my boss after a while. I considered him a father figure and a friend, and I did things for him because I didn't want to disappoint him. Not because I was scared of him. I never wanted to disappoint him, and he drove me to heights that I didn't know I could reach. I owe your father so much for that. He was a beautiful, wonderful influence in my life. In our board meetings, he had a way of dealing with a board of 10 people. Everybody had different opinions. He would draw them out. He was so clever. He enabled that energy, that beautiful energy of his, and that love of his to shine through, because he had no hidden agendas. He was looking out for the best of the people that he was dealing with, of the pensioner that was in a problem, or the member. And at the end of a discussion, sometimes half one decision from 10 people, and every single person walked out there feeling they'd had their say and they were happy with the decision. I've never seen that. I sit on many other boards. Ashwin was a master at people. It was always the right decisions as well. I always said that when I grow up, I want to be like Ashwin. Ashwin, you're gone now. There's no more growing up for you. And I think it's time now that I grow up and try and follow your example, which nobody actually ever can. But if I can just be 10% of the person that you have shown me through the 23 years we've been together, just 10%, I would have done something for the world as well. I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for the accolades that have come from the pensioners, and I wish I could read them all to you, but we would be here till tomorrow. But please be assured, 3,500 pensioners, many members, all send their love, all send their condolences, and all wish you well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anthony Williams, for sharing such a beautiful eulogy with us. I personally did not know that Ashwin was part of the SABC team on behalf of some of our colleagues at Lotus FM, but nonetheless, you showed us such a beautiful side of Ashwin, so caring and so loving. And on that note, I just want to say to you, he probably didn't buy any clothes for Shaylin simply because he knew that Shaylin was going to fit into his own clothes. Shaylin is just a version of Ashwinji. So we hear very often of Ashwinji being so beautifully intertwined with every one of the Hindu religious groups in the country. But I'm going to share with you two beautiful messages that come from a very different quarter. The first is from Tafta. Now, I don't know whether you know this, but Ashwin was very, very closely related to Tafta, and this is what this message reads. Sincere condolences from Tafta. On behalf of the Council, beneficiaries, management, and staff of the Association of the Aged, Tafta, I wish to extend our sincerest condolences on the passing of Mr. Ashwin Trikamjee. Ashwin epitomized integrity and good governance, always leading with wisdom, fairness, and an unwavering commitment to social justice. His dedication to the sector of the elderly was truly admirable. His contributions have left an indelible mark, and his presence will be missed. Our heartfelt condolences go out to his family, friends, and all those lives he touched. May his legacy continue to inspire all of us. And this comes from Famada Shamam, apologies if I didn't pronounce the name correctly, and the entire Tafta team. The other message comes from an organization that is called We Will Speak Out South Africa, Faith Communities Ending Sexual and Gender-Based Violence. And this message reads like so. Condolences to the entire Hindu community, farewell to a visionary, a leader with a hospitable and noble heart. It is with great sadness that the Secretariat, Board, staff and partners of We Will Speak Out South Africa have received the news of the passing of Shree Ashwin Hirjee Trikamjee. We pray that the Divine will grant him eternal abode and that he may rest in eternal peace. Our deep condolences to his family at this time, that they may be strengthened by the knowledge of how much his life meant to so many. Our sincere condolences also to you as the leadership, the entire Hindu community in South Africa. Our prayers are with you as you struggle to get used to his absence and continue his legacy of openness to interfaith work and his commitment to justice. We have enjoyed learning from him when we have met together, and we look forward to joining with you to continue to work together to realize our shared vision of a united and just world. And a beautiful message, you will agree with me, from We Will Speak Out South Africa. I have a very, very short message here now from the Judge President of the High Court of KwaZulu-Natal, and she is Madam Justice Poyo, apologies if I get this pronunciation incorrect, Glowati. And she writes, please convey my deepest and sincere condolences to the Trikamjee family. He served the legal profession with dignity his entire life. He will certainly be missed. So we now move on to more music, more songs, more bhajans, and thereafter we bring to you our next speaker.
Beloved Didi, Veena Didi, please permit me to say a few words about Shri Ashwin Trikamjee. He was a true leader for all of us. So high, and I pray that all affiliate members to the Hindu Mahasabha will continue in his stride and live that set for us. I offer this bhajan. It's from the Balakandam of the Navana by Lakshmana Acharya. Ashwin ji mein Atma ko Shanti.
Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Shuddha Brahma Paratpara Ram Kalatmaka Parameshwara Ram Shuddha Brahma Paratpara Ram Kalatmaka Parameshwara Ram Seshatalpa Suganidrita Ram Brahmadyamara Pratita Ram Chandra Kirana Kulamandana Ram Srimad Sharadanandana Ram Kausalya Sukhavardhana Ram Vishwamitra Priyadana Ram Ghora Dataka Gataka Ram Marichadini Padaka Ram Kaushika Mukha Samrakshaka Ram Srimad Haryodharaka Ram Gautama Muni Sampujita Ram Suramuni Varagana Samstuta Ram Navika Dhavita Mridupada Ram Mithila Purajana Mohaka Ram Videha Manasa Ranjaka Ram Trayambaka Karmuka Bhanjaka Ram Sita Pitavara Malika Ram Kridvi Vahika Kautuka Ram Bhagavadar Balinashaka Ram Srimad Ayodhya Palaka Ram Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sita Ram Ishwara Allah Deve Ram Sabko Sannati Jaya Bhagavan Ishwara Allah Deve Ram Sabko Sannati Jaya Bhagavan Rama Rama Jaya Raja Ram Rama Rama Jaya Sita Ram Rama Rama Jaya Raja Ram Rama Rama Jaya Sita Ram Om Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Sri Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Ram Ram, Jaya Raja Ram, Ram Ram, Jaya Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Jaya Raja Ram, Ram Ram, Jaya Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Jaya Sita Ram. Shri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Dhanyavada.
Say Dhanyavadam to you, and if you haven't recognized the lady who has just sung, she's none other than Vijay Lakshmi Balakrishna, a very, very well-known singer in South Africa, and our Ashwin has simply loved her singing. It is now for us to listen to a very wonderful message from Honorable Judge Nompumelelo Hadebe. Would you please make your way to Mike?
To the family, the children and the grandchildren of Ashwin Trikamjee, and to all relatives and extended family, allow me to congratulate Ashwin for the life well lived, especially as a legal eagle. We thank Ashwin for his contribution, for his compassion, for his patience, especially to the budding legal professionals. Almost all the legal professionals, including most of the judges that were practicing attorneys before, have their name, have Ashwin's name inscribed in their careers. Ashwin was a very patient person. I remember that while we were doing articles, and we were told about Mr. Trikamjee, and we would shiver because he was tall, he was quiet, he would walk up and down the examination hall, and even before you finish the paper, you were already filled with fear. But as I grew closer to him, especially as a member of the attorneys board exams, I realized that this is a very humble man. This is a very caring man. And he wanted to empower everybody, irrespective of skin, color, or creed. He was always, always very, very thankful that we were together. There was also Mr. Raja. Mr. Raja was a bit stiff, but Ashwin would say, come on, just be gentle with the students. I personally must admit that I was very strict in marking, and Ashwin would say, Nompumelelo, come sit next to me. I think I must calm you down. These people will make their life through the legal profession. Almost all the attorneys that are practicing now, especially I would say those who've been practicing for the past 30 years, know Ashwin Trikamjee. And those whom we recently admitted, as in February, Ashwin's name still appears in their certificates. Ashwin would never raise his voice. I don't know how he managed it. Even the candidate attorneys who were late for their oral exams, could be for transport problems, but Ashwin would let them in. And if you speak to Ashwin, he would simply say, tell them to call Mala. And every candidate attorney knew that you can phone Ashwin directly, but you will say phone Mala. And the moment Ashwin says phone Mala, then you know your way is clear. Because Mala would never turn you down either. And by the time you phone Mala, she would know that it is Ashwin who said you must phone. Because she would give you the same answer that Ashwin would give you. So Mala, I'm sorry, my sister, for what has befallen you. I'm sorry that today I stand here to bid farewell to my dear friend Ashwin. Ashwin would never forget to send me a birthday message. He would never forget to send me an Easter message. He would never forget to send me a Christmas message. He was very caring, and I stand here to confirm that he was my mentor. I am a judge today through Ashwin's contributions, directly and indirectly, remotely or closely. And most of the judges would agree with me. Nobody in our legal profession doesn't know who Ashwin is. And he is known for his humble demeanor. Ashwin, may your soul rest in peace. May you find a favor, and may your soul attain moksha. We acknowledge that a big tree has fallen, a tree that was providing us with all the shade that we needed in our legal profession. Rest in peace, Ashwin. We will see you again tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful words of appreciation of our brother Sri Ashwin Trikamjee. And of course, as we've heard throughout the speeches today, folks, we learn more and more about Ashwin Bhai. And of course, we realize that there's so much we didn't know about him, and we are so proud to have had him in our lives. We are now going to take another bhajan break, and thereafter we are going to a different sphere, and that is the sphere of soccer legends. So lots more to share with you about our dear brother Ashwin ji.
Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. कौन कहता है भगवान आते नहीं, कौन कहता है भगवान आते नहीं, भक्त मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं, भक्त मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम। कौन कहता है भगवान खाते नहीं, कौन कहता है भगवान खाते नहीं, तीर शबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं, तीर शबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम, राम नारायणम जानकी वल्लभम। कौन कहता है भगवान सोते नहीं, कौन कहता है भगवान सोते नहीं, माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं, माँ यशोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं। अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम्
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम्
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्
कौन कहता है भगवान नाचते नहीं
कौन कहता है भगवान नाचते नहीं
गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं
गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम्
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम्
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्
नाम जपते चलो काम करते चलो
नाम जपते चलो काम करते चलो
कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल गाते चलो
कृष्ण गोविंद गोपाल गाते चलो
याद आएंगे उनको कभी ना कभी
याद आएंगे उनको कभी ना कभी
कृष्ण दर्शन तो देंगे कभी न कभी
कृष्ण दर्शन तो देंगे कभी ना कभी
ओ अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम्
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम्
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्
रामनारायणं जानकी वल्लभम्
As promised, our next speaker comes from the world of sports, and we have Jasper Verden from the South African Federation Soccer Legends to share a very special message with us now. And if you ever wondered why Ashwin looks so athletic, this is a talk that will probably reveal to you why so. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As is customary, before I start my tribute to Ashwin, in football, and it's not because we stay healthy, but we have a moment's silence for those that passed on the legends and those that are not well. So can I ask you to observe a moment's silence with your head bowed, please? Thank you. This is a tribute to our late Ashwin Trikamjee, family, friends, and the sporting fraternity. It is with great sadness and sorrow we have assembled to pay our last respect to an icon of soccer administration, a colleague and close friend, Ashwin Trikamjee. Ashwin and I have been friends from as far back as the early 60s, both of us living in the Casbah. And if you want to know about the Casbah, talk to the legends, they'll tell you about it. And of course, we also attended the same high school. Ashwin was a few years ahead of me, so I'm just not going to give away our ages. Ashwin's entry into football was by joining Manning Rangers Football Club in the FPL, and thereby being the chairman of the club, and subsequently he got elected as vice chairman of the Federation Professional League. In 1979, and some of you are not that age as well, but 1979, Ashwin became president of the FPL. And of course, I was elected onto his executive committee, a position held up until our merger with the NSL in 1990. In 1990, Ashwin, together with Gav Hosman and myself, were elected onto the new executive of the National Soccer League. Ashwin being elected as vice chairman and later on as chairman. Ashwin also served as vice president of SAFA. Subsequently, at the elections of our 1996 PGM, we, the 3 ex-FPL members, were voted out of office, thus bringing an end to any involvement of FPL members in the NSL. In 2006, of course, when we left the NSL, unfortunately, we were out of football because we had merged and our efforts that we had put into the FPL was now usurped by the NSL. But in 2006, because we decided, the SA-Fed Soccer Legend was formed. And I must tell you that through an initiative of a member who was no longer with us, the late Don Mudley, was the brainchild of forming this to make sure that our ex-players and officials were together. The SA-Fed Soccer Legends was formed by past dedicated members of the FPL, and that was to honor and serve our former soccer legends and officials, as it was say, a body that always kept the Fed flag flying high. Ashwin always strived for the principle of non-racial sport in South Africa, a firm believer of SACO's policies, which saw him attending many meetings abroad. And I think Mrs. Trikamjee will allude to that as well, including being part of a football delegation that was sent to Harare, and that was when we decided that football is going to be unified so that we can be admitted to FIFA. In 2024, the SA-Fed Soccer Legends national body was formed at Curry's Fountain. Ashwin was unanimously accepted as our national chairman. And of course, he only served 6 months. Ashwin also served on the board of directors of the Curry's Fountain Heritage Preservation Foundation, an organization formed by concerned members of the SA Soccer Federation and SACOS in order to preserve Curry's Fountain, the mecca of non-racial sport. For the record, and I think most of you wouldn't know this, but Ashwin was a very ardent supporter of Tottenham Hotspurs. In the early days and in the early 60s, he was the only Spurs fan to meet the team on arrival in South Africa. So go back to history and you'll record what has happened with Tottenham Hotspur. It is an honor to acknowledge Ashwin's involvement and dedication in the upliftment of non-racial sport in South Africa. On behalf of our executive, our management committee, and members of the South African Fed Legends and the sporting fraternity, our deepest sympathies and condolences to you, Mrs. Trikamjee, and the family. May Ashwin's soul rest in eternal peace. God bless. I'm Jasper Burden, and I'm the chairperson of the SA-Fed Soccer Legend, Southern KZN. We have a few messages from because we are a national body, we have messages from Western Province, the executives of Western Province, Eastern Province, Northern Natal, and Gauteng. But due to time constraint, and the Master of Ceremonies did mention that, we would like to convey their deepest regret and sorrow and sympathies to all those that knew Ashwin and served under Ashwin Trikamjee. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, sir, for making the time, for sharing those wonderful sentiments on our dear brother, Shri Ashwin Trikamjee. I'm going to share with you some messages that have come through. I have to say this, there have been an outpouring of messages. You will have noticed that people very, very gracefully came and handed me envelopes. They weren't paying me for the job I'm doing, but they were sharing with me the messages of the organizations. But I do want to say we are not going to be able to read all of those messages. Mala is here from the Hindu Mahasabha, and she has agreed to put all of the messages onto the website of the South African Hindu Mahasabha. So please do forgive me if your message is not read, but do know it is certainly acknowledged. The first message I share with you is very, very far away from the football field. It comes from the Sannyasa Spiritual Council of South Africa, and this message comes from Swami Vedanand Saraswati Ji, and he writes, on behalf of all sannyasins and the Sannyasa Spiritual Council of South Africa, I'm deeply saddened by the sudden passing of our beloved Shree Ashwin Trikamjee, who served not only as a beacon of light in the Hindu community, but also as a son of the South African soil, serving the nation in so many capacities in selfless service to the people. We have lost a true giant whose voice shall truly be felt when we continue on the road towards creating a better and more united society. Having sacrificed so much for the sake of peace, justice, equality, and unity, Ashwin was the epitome of Ubuntu and echoed the dharmic call of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. He was a firm supporter of the vision and mission of the Sannyasa Council, and our regular interactions were always geared towards strengthening the cause of Hindu Dharma and unity of Hindus in South Africa, while equally voicing the critical need for multi-religious respect, tolerance, and constructive dialogue for collective peace and harmony. We had the deepest respect for each other, and we will sorely miss his wise counsel and leadership. Not only the Hindu community, but our province and nation at large was a better place because of the tireless and selfless service of the Son of Africa, right till the end. He was an ever-guiding light of wisdom, courage, and faith to his family and community. It was an honor and blessing for us to have known him and served him. Though the light of his life has ascended, his legacy will forever shine through the heart of every peace-loving Hindu. We now have a message from the International Movement for Tamil Culture, and this is a message that comes from Dr. Vicky Chetty. I did see him a little earlier in the afternoon, and his message reads like so. Vanakkam, Namaste, Om Sai Ram. It is with deep sadness that I extend my deepest condolences to the passing of Advocate Ashwin Trikamjee, to his wife, children, and family, the broad Hindu community, and the South African Hindu Mahasabha. I worked alongside with him for several years on various platforms, being the former president of the South African Tamil Federation, to name a few, the National Religious Leaders Forum, the 1860 Legacy Foundation, the 150th Anniversary Committee, the Steering Committee with regards to Durban Cultural and Documentation Center, now known as the 1860 Heritage Center, SABC Religious Board, the Eastern Languages Forum, and various other issues concerning the Hindu community. He supported the International Movement for Tamil Culture on its promotion of the Tamil Teacher Diploma, the publication of Tamil textbooks from grades 1 to 12, and the Tamil Priest course conducted by Bharat University in Chennai, India. His tireless efforts in interacting with the government has been instrumental in promoting our religion and culture. And I do want to say, friends, that I'm reading parts of the messages that have been sent through so that we can cover as many as possible. We know that Ashwinji was very, very close to his language, which is the Gujarati language, and here's a message from the Surat Gujarati Vidya Mandal, and it reads, so, respected members of the South African Hindu Mahasabha, respected family members of dear Ashwin Trikamjee, we are indeed saddened by the loss of Ashwin Trikamjee, President of the South African Hindu Mahasabha, who left this world and all his loved ones in a state of shock and grief. It seems as if Paramatma also needs people who are precious and direly needed here. Ashwin Trikamjee was a constant source of strength, wisdom, and guidance to all those he came into contact with. He leaves behind a legacy of love, kindness, and compassion, and will be deeply missed. Our ardent and humble prayer is that the family and all the members of the South African Hindu Mahasabha find peace, comfort, and strength during this time of sorrow that the departed attained Sadgati. And this comes from the executive and members of the Surat Gujarati Vidya Mandal. A very quick message now from the East London Hindu Society, and the message reads like this: Jai Shri Krishna. East London Hindu Society extends our heartfelt condolences the entire global Hindu community on the passing of a cherished member of the South African Hindu Mahasabha. During this difficult time, our thoughts and prayers are with you as you mourn the loss of someone who undoubtedly played an integral role in our community. Ashwin Trikamjee will always be remembered for his contributions, devotion, and values he upheld, which truly embodied the spirit of the South African Hindu Mahasabha. His dedication to the Hindu community and its traditions has left an indelible mark that will continue to inspire all of us. Om Sat Gati Prapti Rastu. And this comes from love from the East London Hindu community. We have more messages that we are going to share with you, but now we ask our bhajan group to please join us with a short bhajan.
ene shanti apone paramatma Hare Sharane avyo che atma ene shanti apone paramatma hame साथे बढ़ीने करिए प्रार्थना ene shanti apone paramatma हमें साथे बढ़ीने करिए प्रार्थना इन्हें शांति आपने परमात्मा राधे श्याम ने प्रणाम सीताराम ने प्रणाम राधे श्याम ने प्रणाम सीताराम ने प्रणाम मुक्तिदाता ने प्रणाम रे ene shanti apone paramatma muktidata ne pranam re ene shanti apone paramatma jala ram ne pranam daya ram ne pranam jala ram ne pranam daya ram ne pranam krupani ne प्रणाम रे ene shanti apone paramatma कृपानिधि ने प्रणाम रे ene shanti apone paramatma तारे शरणे આવ્યો છે આત્મા ene shanti apone paramatma તારે શરણે આવ્યો છે આત્મા એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા બ્રહ્મા વિષ્ણુને પ્રણામ શંકર દાદાને પ્રણામ બ્રહ્મા વિષ્ણુને પ્રણામ શંકર દાદાને પ્રણામ ગાયત્રી માતાને પ્રણામ રે એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા ગાયત્રી માતાને પ્રણામ રે એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા અમે સાથે મળીને કરીએ પ્રાર્થના એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા સાથે મળીને કરીએ પ્રાર્થના એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા સૂર્યદેવને પ્રણામ ચંદ્રદેવને પ્રણામ સૂર્યદેવને પ્રણામ ચંદ્રદેવને પ્રણામ ધરતી માતાને પ્રણામ રે એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા ધરતી માતાને પ્રણામ રે એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા તારે શરણે આવ્યો છે આત્મા એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા તારે શરણે આવ્યો છે આત્મા એને શાંતિ આપોને પરમાત્મા ने करिए प्रार्थना, तेने शांति आपोने परमात्मा।
हमें साथे मळीने करिए प्रार्थना, तेने शांति आपोने परमात्मा। लाल की जय।
Thank you for inviting the energies of peace to be with you. Our next speaker is from the Patni Social Club, and I call onto stage Magistrate Rajesh Purushottam to please share his thoughts with us. And while he makes his way to the stage, I wonder whether Mridulaben has anything to do with the title of this organization called the Patni Social Club.
Namaste, Vanakkam, Salam, Shalom, Saubona, Molweni. Greetings to one and all present in person and to those on our virtual platforms. We all come into this world through our mothers. This is referred to as our first birth. Our second birth, if we are fortunate, comes via a guru or a spiritual master. A guru gives us awakened intelligence, he gives us awareness, and constantly encourages one and guides one to be in touch with our spiritual self. Many of us have been fortunate to have had Pujya Shree Ashwin Trikamjee as our guru. He has inspired us to be disciplined, he fostered open communication, and was always willing to answer the most intricate questions posed to him on a daily basis by many of us. He took our love for Mataji and our Dharma and fueled it with scientifically backed knowledge. Ashwin Bhai started sitting in the Navratri Puja over 71 years ago. He succeeded his dad, Hirjee Baba, and began leading us in prayer in 1994. The prayer had grown exponentially under his stewardship. Navratri has always been our special time of the year. We come together as a community to celebrate Mataji in all her glory. Our guiding light for those 9 days has always been Ashwin Bhai. He graciously conducted the prayer every morning and evening, reading the full Chandi Path every day, and finally conducting the Mahayagna in the most magnificent and splendid manner. He did all of this while engaging in extreme forms of personal sacrifice in terms of his fasting, etc. His dedication and commitment to this prayer and our Dharma was unquestionable, but spiritually it transcended many boundaries. President Ramaphosa, in his statement to the nation yesterday, said the following, and I quote, "Ashwin's deep spiritual devotion extended beyond the Hindu affiliation, as he advocated tolerance and collaboration amongst the diverse religious communities in our country," unquote. Despite Ashwin Bhai's extremely busy schedule, he starts planning his entire year by blocking out dates for Navratri, the monthly Havans, other religious occasions, the Mahasabha meetings, the Durban Diwali festival, and numerous weddings that he conducted, as well as other events. What amazed me personally was his humbleness in spite of his sheer greatness. He always preached that we should destroy our negative qualities such as ego, jealousy, hatred, etc. Ashwin Bhai was obviously a gifted soul, and he excelled in anything that he set his mind upon. He was able to wear a multitude of hats, fulfilling his various roles in a single day. He would, for example, fly to Durban on the eve of Navaratri after a 10-hour flight, that is after attending a business meeting or a conference. He would then get home, have a shower, change, respond to emails and missed calls, and be at the mandir till late at night to set up for the next 9 days. Those of us who knew him admired his discipline, his ability to excel in anything that he did, including the ease at which he embraced and mastered the latest technology. In addition to his commitments, he was able to connect with multitudes of people on an individual basis. He knew people on a personal level, by name. He knew all of their families and their names as well. This being said, he inevitably had numerous families apart from his Trikamjee family. He had the Patni family, the Kendra family, the Sapta Mandir family, the Mahasabha family, his PA Mala Pillai and the Garlic and Bousfield family. He had his kart group, his squash group, and his soccer families. Ashwin Bhai has left a void in all of these families that would ordinarily be impossible to fill. But at the same time, he has left us with a life that is much richer with his wisdom, coupled with his sense of humor and lessons to last us a lifetime. We have all been extremely blessed to have had him in our lives. That being said, we also have to acknowledge and thank Mridula Bhabi, Shailin, Tulja, Nirishi, Arti, his grandkids Veer and Mai, and the rest of the Trikamjee family for the sacrifices they have had to endure to share him with the entire South African community at large. As sad as I am, Ashwin Bhai, on your passing, I bow my head once again to you in reverence and with full gratitude. Our final passing words to you on this day from all of us will be your two favorite words, Jayambe.
And may Jai Amba resound in the universe where Sri Ashwin Trikamjee is at the moment. As we all know, he was an ardent devotee of the Divine Mother. We have a very, very special message now, and this comes from Guru Sankaran, the Vice Chair of the Gurumar Sangam of South Africa. Will you please come through?
Hari Om, Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskar. Vanakkam. Today we mourn the passing of Sri Mr. Trikamjee. He was a remarkable individual who left a great mark not only in our community but also nationally and globally. As a respected attorney, chair of the Hindu Mahasabha and champion of the Indian community heritage, he dedicated his life and performing and justice and service and culture and saving others. Mr. Trikamjee was intimate and facilities work of Nuchiti of South Africa for priests of India, including me also. He continued to provide and support all of us by hosting regular meeting. He also ensured that was and concerning date and time of the religions and cultural festival. Sri Trikamjee will always remember for his humility and kindness and for always extending helping hand in times of need. He will also remember for his involvement in sports, especially in soccer. On behalf of Guru Shankar and Gurumar Shankam and Sri Vishnu Temple Trust, our very respectable, our condolence and prayer of the Trikamjee family. Hari Om. I will tell to our Guru Shankar, please come.
Namaste, Namaskaram, Om Sai Ram to everyone. Thank you for allowing the South Africa Gurumar Sangam to do the last rite and tribute to our special main, which is Ashwin Trikamjee, behalf of our group, Mothers of our Gurumar Sangam, we like to put one shawl, the final rites for him. We allow it. Thank you.
Thank you, and we will ask Mala from the South African Hindu Mahasabha to facilitate that. Thank you for your very generous offering. We ask our Bhajan group to please sing a short song now, and thereafter we share with you more messages. And I do want to remind you that at 4 o'clock we will be wrapping up the actual formalities. Thank you. It's time for us to now through, and I do want to say we are going to read parts of the messages. It's been a long afternoon and it is very hot, so I want going perhaps a little after time, but we have to acknowledge as many people as possible because Ashwinji has touched so many lives. We have a message from Shree Sharda Devi Ashram, and it reads like so. Om Namo Narayanaya Namaste. His Holiness revered, Her Holiness, pardon me, revered Pravrajika Ishtaprana Mataji conveys loving greetings to you, the officials and members of the Shree Sharda Devi Ashram, Ashwin, Durban. I convey our heartfelt condolences to Hirjee, Trikamjee family, as we learned the 20th of March. Ashwin has worked tirelessly to spread inspiring Vedantic teachings and uplift the Hindu community in South Africa. Selfless service, many families found direction, inspiration, and renewed faith. The Hindi Siksha Sangh and the Hindwani family conveys our the passing away of Mr. Ashwin Hirjee Trikamjee. Indeed, we are in every South African history. We are privileged and honored to have worked with him. He was a meticulous leader who had the rare ability, in the face of insurmountable challenges, he was always able to a win-win solution. We have another message from the Divine Life Society of South Africa, and the message reads: and devotees of the Divine Life Society of South Africa convey their deepest condolences to the members of the bereaved family on the sad demise of one of the greatest sons of South Africa, Shri Ashwin Trikamjee. It is with sadness that we bid farewell to a legend in the South African diaspora. No doubt the passing of our dear brother will leave a great void in the family and community. We pray to our Divine Master Sri Swami Shivanandaji and Paramatma to give the bereaved family the courage and strength to bear this irreparable loss with fortitude, prayerful thoughts, and loving acts of worship and service in memory of this wonderful and benevolent soul. And the messages go on. A message from the South African National Council of ISKCON. It reads like this: today the South African community mourns the loss of the great leader who led his life in service of humanity. Mr. Trikamjee was not only a learned scholar of the Bhagavad Gita, the holy Vedic scripture, but also lived his life through the teachings of Lord Krishna. His relationship with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in South Africa dates back to many decades. He has been part of many major festivals over the years, including our Janmashtami and Durban Festival of Chariots, and has been a friend to many leaders of ISKCON across the country and visiting gurus to South Africa. A message from the Gujarati Hindu Sanskriti Kendra. The officials and the members of the Gujarati Hindu Sanskriti Kendra are deeply saddened by the news of the sudden passing away of Shri Ashwin Trikamjee. Ashwin was a Yug Purush of note and was part of the Kendra family. His legacy of faith and seva and great leadership will always be remembered and continue to inspire us. There are many, many messages that have come through, but I'm just going to focus on some of the mother organizations in the country. The Shree Sathya Sai International Organization of South Africa sends this message. On behalf of the Sathya Sai International Organization of South Africa, I extend our deepest condolences on the passing of Brother Ashwin, a revered cultural leader and esteemed legal professional. His life was a beacon of strength, wisdom, and guidance, touching countless of lives with his unwavering commitment to justice, community, and service on every front. We also have another very special message that has come all the way from Sydney, Australia, and it comes from His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj. It reads like this: His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj heard the sad news of the passing away of your beloved father, Mr. Ashwin Trikamjee, who was a beacon of selfless service as the president of the South African Hindu Mahasabha and the chairperson of the National Religious Forum. His work for the betterment of society, the community, and South Africa has left an unforgettable mark, and his contributions will be remembered by all who were touched by his dedication and leadership. Folks, we have to leave the messages here, and as indicated to you, there's so many messages that have come through, and all of these are going to feature on the website of the South African Hindu Mahasabha. It is now time for us to listen to messages closer to home of Shri Ashwin Trikamjee. Swami Shivanandaji always referred to children as spiritual angels, and the two spiritual angels in Ashwinji's life are now going to come to the podium and share a very, very special message of their Dadaji. Can I ask them to please come to stage as we hear their very special message to Shree Ashwin Trikamjee. So we now listen to Veer and Mahi Trikamjee. I think they're tall enough. This mic unfortunately cannot be moved. So Veer.
Today we stand here with a heavy heart, trying to find the right word to say goodbye to our grandfather, Ash Dada, our hero.
He was one of the most humble and kind people I ever met. To learn through him is a privilege, and I was lucky enough to learn a lot from him. Through his teachings, I have learned a lot about spirituality and also a lot about being strong mentally. His presence brightened up every room. He was someone who listened more than he spoke. He gave more than he took. And in a world that often celebrates power and wealth, he has reminded us that true greatness lies in the simple acts of goodness.
Dada was one of my favorites. He was the best. Every time we came to Durban, he would take Veer and I to Toy Kingdom, and I could choose whatever I want. When he came to Joburg for Grandparents' Day at school, he would take us to Haagen-Dazs.
After every meal, he would always offer me a chocolate, and if I hesitated because my parents said no, he would just sneak it to me while they weren't looking.
He spoiled Veer and I always. Chocolates were Dada and my favorites. I am sure many of you don't know what trips is in the card game Tani. Dada taught me how to play trips in Tani. I will always love you and thank you for being you.
He has left some of him with my father and I through his dashing and classy style, which I am grateful for. Dada did absolutely everything that one could dream of, from traveling the globe to meeting the world's famous, but also to raking his own yard and getting his daily steps in. I definitely got my competitive streak from him. Dada was not just my grandfather. He was my guide, my storyteller, and my greatest teacher. He was a man of incredible strength, not just in his muscles from all those hours at the gym, but in his heart and his character. Even in his last days, he never stopped exercising, never stopped pushing himself to be better. That's just who he was, disciplined, determined, and unstoppable. But more than his strength, what I admired most was his heart. Dada dedicated his life to serving his people, leading with wisdom and always putting others before himself.
He wasn't just a leader in the Hindu community. He was a pillar of it. He taught us the true meaning of seva, of giving without expecting anything in return.
He left a long-lasting legacy that will remain with us forever. Dada, we will always think of you and we will make you proud. We love you.
And I can say without any hesitation that Dada loved you as well. If you looked at Ashwinji's profile picture, you would always see his grandchildren there, and of course often with him doing something with them. And it is now time for me to call Shaylin and Hirjee to the podium. They are going to be presenting the vote of thanks. So can I please ask you to come to the podium?
Namaste. The last 3 weeks first I must apologize to my father. He had always taught me the gift of giving a speech with no notes and being off the cuff and natural, but I was afraid that I wouldn't have the right words and I would forget to thank some important people, so I'm going to be leading for the first time. Sorry, Ash. The last 3 weeks have potentially been the most difficult in my personal and professional life, as I tried to accept the inevitability of your diagnosis, but desperately hold on to every string of hope that I could, that by some miracle we could change the course of science and medicine. It was the magnanimity and greatness of your being that allowed me to believe that you would be the one patient to defy everything that I knew as a doctor and prove the world wrong by fighting this. Ash, I always knew you were extraordinary, but this last month you proved it in a whole other way. You showed me how mentally strong you really were when your body started giving up on you. You also showed me how vulnerable you could be when life demanded. Whilst we fought as a family, day and night, to find solutions for you and make you as comfortable as possible, there were so many people who held my hand that definitely need a mention today. Mala, I don't know where you are, but you were making phone calls day and night, 7 days a week, driving from Verulam, calling home-based workers, calling Discovery, speaking to me as Dad's health needs changed, and making sure that we kept up with whatever his demands were, every doctor, every appointment, and also just giving me personal strength and hope. I must admit, something that my father was not happy about with my association with Mala in the last 3 weeks was that I intercepted his diary and cancelled everything that he had, despite him wanting to continue to work as normal with this weakness and this dreaded disease. Mr. Rashik Kaka, Mummy and I and Shaylin could never have done anything without you. You stood by us when we called you at 3 a.m., when Ash couldn't walk and we needed help to bring him down the stairs. You stood by us as an emotional support, leaving your own family and your own work. And I know you say we don't have to do this, but Mummy, Shaylin and I are and will be eternally grateful. Dr. Pregs Chetty, Uncle Preggy, I'm not sure where you are, but you were taking my calls day and night, even though you were not Ash's treating doctor, and you spoke to, like me, every possible specialist you could, and provided me with the medical support so that I could ensure that we did absolutely everything for Ash and we left no stone unturned. Ridwan, I'm not sure if you're inside, but you were there when Shaylin and I couldn't be, and Ash needed you the most. Thank you. Mr. Kiran Jesa, you were also there making Ash laugh every day with a double espresso and making sure that despite not being blood family, you treated him like a father and took care of arrangements that Mummy and I were too weak to take care of. And all of the doctors of St. Augustine's Hospital, Mshlanga Hospital, as well as Parklands, who gave that extra care to Ash when he needed it the most. Everyone who knows him knew that he was never a sickly man. He was never someone who needed doctors, except for me. He never needed hospitals, and just being dependent on other people was something that was really difficult for him. And every nurse and every doctor that assisted us with the diagnosis held Shaylin and my hand so that we could make the right decisions. I really, really appreciate it. Robert Gibson, Chris Garrett and Vanessa Petty, you came home all the time, despite the fact that this was out of your scope, to massage him, give him treatment, help him take steps, help him walk, and help Mum and I carry him so that he could start to get better from the physical rehab. Thank you, God. I never thought I would be saying this. Thank you, God, for taking you when you were graceful and smiling, and dignified as ever. My final thank you, and the most important one, thank you, Ash. How do I put into words what you mean to me? There's no way to quantify all that you have done for me. Just know that I will spend a lifetime honoring you and your legacy. My greatest compliments are when people tell me that I'm like my father, and my most cherished messages of the last 24 hours came from people who reminded me how proud you are of me and how much you spoke of me when you were with them. With all the amazing messages and stories and tributes that are coming in from all around the world, words seem feeble to me to describe you as a man. So I'm going to recite one of our favorite quotes as father and daughter. It's a poem by Rudyard Kipling called If, and I think that this best describes you. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. I have never met a person who symbolized every verse of this poem before, and I'm so proud to call you my father. I promise to continue to make you and your memory proud, and will carry you in my heart forever.
Good afternoon. Namaste, Jayambe, Vanakkam. I was trying to figure out what I was going to say to everybody that's gathered here today. Initially, I wanted to just thank you for the outpouring of love and support. But after listening to, I think there's hundreds of these tributes here, I maybe want to just echo something and maybe draw some color into a bit of our father Ash. He was born in 1944. We were in a different world. And when I was born in late 70s, the influence that my father had on shaping how we saw the world is what has made us the adults that we are today. There was never a time that you couldn't argue or challenge Ash, strange as that might seem coming from a lawyer's son. And the best thing that he did for us was encourage us to continuously apply our mind. We had a law library. Those of you who had visited our home So the natural instinct would have been, as is in the typical Indian culture, you take over the family business. This might seem strange, but Ash never once encouraged us to follow in his footsteps. And the reason why I say that is, it seems quite ironic because those footsteps over the last 80 years are magnanimous and they're giant. And some of the tributes and some of the alliances, committees, leadership positions that Ash has held till today, I am still not aware of. Such was his influence on us growing up and being part of society. I could never quite get how he could be at our Parent Teachers Association and lead the successful transition of Gandhi Desai close Judiciary College, which was never allowing females. And was instrumental in negotiating every single student as they were from Gandhi Desai, so that our schooling lives were not disrupted. Often when you conversations were usually about sporting banter, economic banter. You heard from Uncle Jasper. Ash spent much of his time with soccer, fit by going to the gym regularly. It's a discipline that's lost on most people today. If I had to tell you that he's probably one of, if not the oldest person who's got a streak with Discovery exceeding 400 weeks, most of you are battling to get to 100. But that discipline I grew up watching. At 4:30 he would wake up. It's either I'm going to the gym or I'm going for a run. That wasn't a, it's cold today. I just flew in from somewhere. And it's very hard to put into words how that shaped, particularly my life, because I always saw somebody as this pillar of strength, not just to the community, but to our family. I and cultural education from my life enough to have Ba and Dadaji growing up around me. And whilst, and the reason why I'm choosing to share this with you is, most people sometimes struggle with how you are going to be selfless. As a child, it was extremely frustrating. Your father was part of soccer more than he was a part of your life. But as you get older, it's amazing that you realize what is actually more important. The word I should be last, in fact, eradicated from our vocabulary. I can really recollect a time where he would ignore or not prioritize somebody else as truly greater human beings. What about was time. And this is something that I always question. We all have 24 hours. If you had to look at my father's diary versus my diary, I would always tell him, but Asham was busy. He would be the one who will phone you just to say hello. He would be the one to say, well, I heard the kids are not well, what's happening? Or V's playing a tournament, what's going on? And as you heard today, I don't know how he does it. I would be with him and somebody would come up and say hello. We got used to that after a while. But he would remember exactly who that person was. It was to have in a human being, which is why what Tulja shared with you over the last incredibly frustrating for him. What I want to say, and that was going to be the essence of my message today, was we were privileged to be his children and his family. The person who made the greatest sacrifice in our family is my mother. For us to be able to do all the things that he was able to do, there's only one person that knew. And what has made us a unique family probably is that despite all his successes, we never knew most of them. We didn't know who his clients were. We didn't know what issues most people had that came to see him or consult with him. Because he was a thorough professional. And that's something he taught me from a very young age. You have your integrity. So all I want to say to all of you here today, who and share your time with us, share your memories, share your words of condolence, share your unconditional love. Driving from Johannesburg had given me enough time to process what was happening. This morning when I saw Ash, that kind of went out because it was real. But what I can say is the individual embraces, the moments that you've had with our Father have hopefully changed your lives for the better, have hopefully reminded you that we all can do more. And we all should do more for this community. It's probably said and everybody's thinking it, but today is a public holiday. It is Human Rights Day. Dad has spoken to me about that time when he was born, and I hear some of those things and you just think we take what we have for granted. I sincerely hope that we remember today that we are, in Ash's specific instance, celebrating 80 years on this earth of touching countless lives locally and globally, for shaping the society that we live in, and hopefully being our guiding light to stay the path of righteousness and dharma. Jai Ambe.
And we say thank you to Shaylin and Toja for their very, very heartwarming tribute to their dad. It is time for me to wrap up my contribution to this wonderful farewell to our dear brother Sri Ashwin Trikamjee. And I've just received a message that for the next 12 days there will be an observance at the Trikamjee residence, bhajans from 6:30 to 7:30 every evening, and everyone is welcome. And if you are not able to make your way there, you can always catch the session on a live stream. So thank you once again to everybody for being here, for being such a gracious group of people, sharing your thoughts with us about Mr. Trikamjee, and of course sharing the sentiments of everyone here today about this great, great son of South Africa, a brother to many, a father to his two beautiful children, a grandfather to his two beautiful grandchildren, and of course a wonderful husband to our dear sister Mridula Ben. I'm now going to ask the Bhajan group to please sing the last song for this session, and thereafter Pandit Lokesh Maharaj is going to take over and he will be performing the final rites. Can I ask you to please leave quietly if you have to leave, because And the request, as you would have noticed, is that everyone please join in the Hanuman Chalisa. Once again, from me, Veena Lakshman, thank you for being such a wonderful group of people, saying a wonderful farewell to a wonderful soul. Namaskar, go home safely.
बोलो पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार। बरनौ रघुवर विमल यश जो दायक फल चार। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपिसति भूलोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन वरण विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे कांधे मोज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर रामकाज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र जी के काज सवारे। सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम प्रिय भरत सम भाई। सहस्र बदन तुम्हरो यश गावे अस कहीं श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सन्नादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद शारद सहित अहिसा। रघुवीर विक्रमाल जाने कवि गोविंद कहि सके कहानी। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव कीना राम मिलाय राजपद दीना। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना।
हरे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाए, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहावे। और देवता चेतन धरे, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करे, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पार करे कोई, छूटे बंदी महासुख होई। सोया पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महाडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप हनुमाना। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर। रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय, बोलो पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Thank you, Rakesh Maharaj. We will now take over the final prayers. And finally, we would like to thank the funeral services, Chichi Governor, for the excellent service for this afternoon.
Jai Shri Ram. We gather here today in remembrance of a beloved soul who has departed from this physical world. As we stand before the sacred rites, let us reflect on the eternal nature of the soul and the purpose of our human existence. The Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 23 reminds us that the Atma, or the soul, is eternal and indestructible. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavatah, na chainam kletayanti apo, na shoshyati marutah. The Atma cannot be cut by any weapon, nor can it be burned by fire, wetted by water, or dried by the wind. The body, composed of the 5 material elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, returns to these elements upon death. However, the soul is not bound by a physical decay, it merely transitions to a new existence according to the karma of the individual. The Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 22 further illustrates this truth. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya, navani grihanati naroparani, tatha sharirani vihaya jirnan, anyani sanyati navani dehi. Just as a person discards old garments and wears new ones, the Atma discards an old body and assumes a new one. Thus, death is not an end but a transformation, a passage from one existence to another. This realization helps us accept the departure of our loved one with serenity and understanding. As we bid farewell to our beloved, let us honor his life by striving to live virtuously. Let us cultivate righteousness, compassion, and devotion, knowing that the Atma continues its journey beyond this world. May we find solace in the eternal truth that the soul is immortal and that our love and prayers accompany them on their path. Anadi Vidamodeva, Shankachakra Gadadhara, Akshaya Kundali Kaksha, Prem Moksha Pradodhava. The close family will now offer roses. Thereafter, the immediate family will proceed into the antechamber to perform the last rites. Jai Shri Ram.